one in Brooklyn, and it was like woo woo, right? And so I'm just wondering whether he got his inspiration from the Kimball House,
So what we're doing with them is
because he
we
certainly had been there.
are the living room. So the living room, if you remember, has those tall windows, and then it has this door, which is quite small. So we are saving the original pocket doors and replacing the doors to the living room. And then the living room, rather than having the 4 French windows and then one small door to enter, it'll have one of these pocket doors restored. We can't use them as outside windows because they're single paned and but we're restoring the whole window to keep it inside to show these so that we can showcase.
So you won't have them, the interior door from the hallway will not be like a paneled solid door now, it'll be a glassed door.
Glassed these pockets so that we can showcase these pocket doors. Because I looked it up and there's very, very few pocket doors in 1826. It's kind of not a thing. French doors, Ma?
Yeah, French doors definitely. But I'm just wondering if that's something that Jefferson also did, because Jefferson did a lot of innovations and
I did not look at.
He probably introduced French doors into the United States.
That's what I think, and I think that there's quite good evidence that Gouverneur knew Jefferson.
Yes.
And so I don't know. I haven't been able to make the link as to whether these French doors and the fact that they're pocket doors. So.
Well, you know, William's son.
Gouverneur, or William had
No.
many sons.
No, yeah, William's eldest son, who I think was Peter, married a DuPont girl.
Yes, and they have a house in Delaware that is quite famous and has a museum
And the sloop that the Gouverneurs owned was called the Victorine after her.
interesting.
Her
Very
name was
interesting.
Victorine, her father's name was Victor.
Very nice. So that was our bit of, and we found a locksmith in Charleston, South Carolina, who made keys for all our rim locks. So you remember I brought in the big rim lock from the front door, but that key, the guy in New York charged $250. In South Carolina, they charged $20 to handmade the locks. So we actually went to South Carolina, and I went through airport security with 10 wrought iron locks. And I went to the guy and I said, I've got a lot of metal, and this is kind of gonna show up. They're not dangerous. And they were really nice, actually. And they kind of looked through my locks and put them all in a little plastic bag and went, oh, okay, yeah, they don't look dangerous. And I took them in as hand luggage because I wasn't gonna risk losing
So
them.
the TSA guys have crazy lock
I was
list.
just gonna say, crazy lady that got through. Good thing they weren't confiscated.
Yeah.
Shall we
So-
come to order?
Huh?
Shall we open?
Andrea's
yeah.
gonna be a little bit late.
Andrew's late, yeah.
Okay. So the meeting is now open. Modifications to previously approved windows.
May I have
Yes.
some props? So, our otherwise wonderful architect designed these windows that look beautiful from the outside and are 6 foot tall. The problem is that there is a kitchen counter behind these windows. And that means that the back of the dishwasher and the back of the kitchen sink will be looking out the window. And Steve Tilley claims that he explained this to us. David and I don't recall this conversation happening, and I guess it doesn't really matter. But we sort of spoke to the builder and the window guy, and you can't have kitchen windows that, I mean, if you imagine this is the kitchen counter, the windows would come a foot lower than the kitchen counter.
If you were dealing with the old portion of the house,
And that's what was there.
Right, you see sometimes in
But if it
other
were a
houses in
library-
Massachusetts, people will build out, but it's,
Yes.
this is the new construction.
So, we would like the permission to not have the back of our dishwasher look out the window. And, this is a representation of how they look if the windows are the same on the second floor as on the first floor. And there's also kind of a problem, not only do they go like a foot below the kitchen counter, there's only like this much left at the top, so they go very, very high. So, I mean, my sense is that, this was just an oversight, there was so much stuff going on.
I mean, the downside is that you lose, you don't have the exact proportions that are on the original construction, but you had something that was more proportional to the size of windows on the original, the lower windows being longer and the upper being smaller. So you lose that.
On the other hand, you had thought that you really wanted a distinction between the old and the new.
I don't think it's necessarily bad that you're losing it. It does create more of a contrast.
I guess the question I would have is, if you're not doing these windows here, but you are doing them here,
Yep. It's a playroom where if you'd like us to not do them there, we'd be happy to do that. They're $500 more a window. So if we say that to the window company, oh dear, we can't do it, the HDRB said, no, you will save us $2,500 and be my favorite man of the day, Al.
okay. I would think,
Kissing your feet comes to mind.
I would think it would be a little bit more consistent because I can understand, visually everything sort of works. I mean, I have no problem with the windows getting smaller. It is new construction, it is off to the side. It just that this becomes a little strange why all of a sudden you turn the corner and now you've got these big tall windows.
More than happy to change those. That would be great.
What about on the driveway side then?
That is the driveway side that Al just talked about.
The north elevation is the
Sorry,
driveway side.
correct.
And this now on the west side over the porch, I did indicate them as changed. So that from the inside of the kitchen, the windows are all the same size.
Yeah. And so,
I mean, it's quite funny the way I realized this. We're gonna have a bench here by the kitchen, and for Mother's Day, the kids gave me the cushions and the upholstery for the bench. So I started measuring where the bench would fit relative to the windows on this west side, and that when I went, well, wait a minute. The windows are lower than a bench you're seated on. They're lower than a bench you're seated on. They're lower than the counters, and that's what made me realize this.
You good?
That's it.
I don't have a room. I mean, it's disappointing that you're losing that little clear storage detail, but
You
you live in the house, I don't, so.
I kind of asked, and everybody said you can't like have windows that come to here. And
Yeah, you have to.
You have to have
totally
room for the
different design.
backsplash and like an inch above the backsplash. I mean, the architect can tell you, but there's a way that they kind of have to be in the kitchen.
No, I just,
So these windows will not only be higher on the lower edge, but also lower on the upper edge.
So
Slightly.
the way, this is actually quite interesting how we're going to do this.
I'm looking how they line up.
Yes, so this is how we're gonna line them up. The builder and I went through this. This is the window in the old house. and I think Al had pointed this out, that the tops of the windows on the old house and the new house have to match so that visually it looks nice. So this west window, so you see there's a facade where you have old and new that overlap here on the west. So you line this top of this window with the tops of these windows. And then now you have the height of this window relative to the floor, and then you make this window, which was a door and is becoming a window, the same proportion as that window, and then this old house is number one window, this is the window, the first window that determines it. And then this window in the dining room, then you have the height of this one determined by that one, so that these are in the same relations. Then you line the tops of these windows up with that window, and then once you have the tops of these windows, you have the tops of the windows on the other side, and then the top of this window here determines that. And then on this side, where's the new windows? Yes, these, and then these are aligned from the top of that window, because when you're standing here, looking there, this window here is in there. So you could stand here and see that window and that one, and
then
then you're
align.
aligning
Yeah.
the heights of them.
Got it. Got it.
So that we, kind of the principle that Al had said, that you really want that visually to line all around the house so that it looks right.
I will make a motion to accept the application as submitted.
With
Well, it
Well,
should
no,
be as
no, with
modified.
the, as modified with
north elevation.
the north elevation also matching the south.
The
elevation.
playroom windows.
Oh, right, right, right.
Window.
So I will make the motion to accept the application as modified with the playroom windows matching the kitchen facade windows. Facade.
Do I have a second?
I will second that motion.
Okay. Kathleen,
Aye.
Carolyn,
Right.
Andrea,
I did just review it, I vote aye.
Sean.
Thanks to Sean.
Thank you very
Approved.
much.
Okay,
Great.
so, we just, these are, this is sort of like this, right?
Yes.
And what you were explaining is you're aligning the tops of these?
Yes.
Got it?
Okay, so one request, if I might. We're fascinated by this house. And some of us pass by it frequently in our walks, though we don't go on the property anymore. So we'd like to trespass, but we don't trespass. And is there any possibility that there could be a time arranged with your
The
contract?
code to the gate is 1609, and you're welcome to go in.
You're a camera. Now you'll change your code.
Yeah, but it's easy to walk around the gate.
It's easy to walk around.
Yeah,
Okay,
but-
you are welcome to come and.
Yeah, we
take a
won't be
look.
pests to the
No.
people working there.
This is the royal we she's referring to.
Yeah, well, yeah, but you want to do it too, you know you want, you know you want.
Give us a call when you come. Do you have my cell phone? Because we're often there and would gladly give
Oh,
you
you're
a tour
often there? Oh, cool.
and can show you around, because, so kind of, here, I'll write it
Okay.
down.
I'll not have that recorded.
Yeah,
Yeah. For the world to know.
yeah.
Merci,
Yes.
madame.
Just give us a call, because we'd love to show you the pocketbooks. They're actually really fascinating. Well,
Yeah,
they're being
I'm drooling.
restored
I'm
now.
drooling.
And the way the rods are made and the way the whole thing is engineered. And we're very excited about the fact that we're gonna be able to showcase them on the inside.
Cool.
So,
Thank you. Do you need your set?
I need the paper, because I.
You need them all? Okay, great.
I've
I
been
have them on
yelled
my
at for
computer.
not leaving.
Not keeping all 6 copies?
You need to leave one behind for
One
Paul when he
behind.
process is the application.
And one
Yes.
goes to the.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Stella is up. I don't know if any Amados have met everyone. I'm Kathleen Foley, we know each other.
And I've met Mr. D'Amato.
You bet.
Hi, I'm Patty.
You look
Hi,
familiar.
nice to meet you.
Sean Conway.
Nice to meet you.
I didn't hear your name.
Carolyn Basham.
Good to see you again.
How are you?
Oh, no, it's right behind you. These are your, the images back that we were extras, so please don't spend more on color copies.
We neglected.
Oh, great.
Thank you.
Oh,
Tell us your story.
Yeah, so this house was where I grew up, and
2 copies.
my father built it. So we're doing it over.
They moved in 1946, and, yeah, so we'd like to make it original on the outside, just in terms of the material. And, you know, great sentimental attachment for us all.
What will you do with your lovely house in Nelsonville?
We don't know yet. We don't know yet, because I'm going to find it very difficult to
I
leave
bet.
that house as well. So, but it was a good house in which to grow old for Phil's mother.
Yeah.
Master bedroom on the first floor, so, you know, thinking long-term.
Aging in place, everybody's doing
That's
it.
That's it.
So you.
It's a great spot, too.
Yeah.
So these are some old photos.
You could see the stucco.
I was so excited when you said there was stucco under the vinyl.
And it's in good shape,
That's wild.
which is,
Oh,
Wait, okay, I'm missing
Oh,
something.
but stucco
This
is
is
easier to
yours.
repair, I mean.
They already have
Oh.
this.
With the gable end. Is this you?
And that's
My
his
Or
brother.
brother.
your brother?
Oh, that house. Okay,
It's
now I know
on
what
the-
we're talking,
Oh,
because
also
I'm
we
looking
got a
at this
piece
and
of
I'm
the
like,
house
huh?
next door.
yeah, so it was,
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
father sided it, was tired
Go
painting.
that way.
Okay.
In '99, the windows were replaced with vinyl replacement windows, that's what's in it now.
It's block here. This is before he cut,
That's
before he
blocked
put the
before it
stucco.
was stucco.
And look at that sweet little fence.
Hmm. Wonderful.
Here, sorry, I'm hogging them all. So how long was it just block?
That's a good question.
Because this is I mean, it's an early color photograph, but
That I don't know. I don't remember it being just block myself. I was born in '55.
well, they were probably saving up their cash till they could put the stucco on.
Well, and it was also post-World War
Post-war.
II.
Yeah.
And
They couldn't get
materials.
materials. I
Mhm.
know one of the staircases in the house came from another building. The, had to use plate glass for the front window in the house because they couldn't get what they wanted.
Was he a builder by trade?
No,
Ah, well, that answers a lot of
He was an
questions too
immigrant.
then.
he had
I'm
done
sure
lots
it
of
was
different
A
jobs.
weekend project, getting it all done.
Well, he worked,
Was it a kit
he-
house?
no,
No.
all built from
God.
scratch.
Wait till you see this one.
He worked
Amazing.
nights so that he could build during the day.
Oh my god.
And is this your grandma? What was her name?
Maria
And
Also
she-
D'Amato?
Perpichova.
She's Brigatella. It all comes together.
Yeah, her husband was the shoemaker in town, and the shop was where Queensbridge Games was.
No kidding.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I gotta read, just so I remember.
Oh, so this is what's underneath?
Yes.
mhm.
Is that you?
Now, is this you or your
No,
brother?
that's actually the little boy
That's
from
Phil.
across the street.
That's
So
That was
cute.
me.
Yeah.
We had a Loyalty Day parade back in
Yeah,
the
the helmet.
60s.
How cool.
Cool.
These are adorable.
Oh. Wait,
Is there some,
if you're
someone
ever,
facing? I'm just trying to look at,
The windows?
no, the walls.
No, the walls are just,
Just blocked with the
concrete
stucco.
block.
That's before the stucco went on.
Yes.
if at some point you'd be willing to come into Village Hall and have a color copier and make photocopies
Sure.
of these to put in your building's file.
Sure.
That'd be fantastic.
And I pulled some
This is
siding off
amazing.
as you had suggested, and
Well, you know what's there.
it's amazing, it's in great shape.
Super.
Including clapboard above and the gables?
I haven't gotten that high,
Oh.
but the wall itself on the one side. On the side that you asked us to show, you know, it was furred out, obviously. Changes the look of the house. The windows are sunken in because of the siding and the furring.
This is the most exciting application in such a long.
I know, we never get to see so many
Oh, great.
pictures,
Oh.
this is amazing.
And,
A
Having someone-
1946 house.
Oh, you'd be
Yeah.
surprised the
Take
stuff
off
that we
on-
have because they kept everything, you know?
Yeah.
And Phil's mother worked at the post office, which used to be
Yeah.
where Houlihan Lawrence is, and so she just walked from the house to
To the
the
corner.
post office.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's great,
easy
yeah.
commute.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, we find people are just starting to appreciate houses of that age again. We're really excited when
Mhm.
someone's coming in and wanting to appreciate the houses for what they are. I think it would be super exciting to have that finish
Yeah.
restored on the house.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk to us about windows?
Well, the,
Yeah, you're talking about the windows and doors, right?
yeah. I had listed that I would use Anderson 400 series windows because I know that you approved those. And I've used them before in different locations. And obviously the architect will direct what she considers would be a good look for the house. Again, she's looking at from what she's shown us, divided lights, but I'm not sure exactly what the format is yet for the window.
You have an architect on this?
Yes,
Who is it?
Heather Kahn?
Heather Kahn, she, I've used Justin Caker in the past, and she worked with Justin. And now she's working independently, and Justin was very busy and recommended her to me.
Great. You should know, the piece that didn't come to everybody else yet, because we talked about it on the street the other day, and it's before the ZBA now, which there's a member here tonight, is that you're looking at modifying the rear facade
Yes.
to accommodate a larger garage, which is where the door element comes in.
This
But-
door.
Yes, but because you need ZBA approval first, you've pulled
Right.
back that piece from discussion tonight, and you're just talking about restoring the facade on the main mass of the house and replacing the windows. And then
Exactly.
we'll talk again later about the part the architect's working on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my intention is that I'll do the whole house over, it'll have a new roof, it'll have, I'll do what I need to do to the stucco, new windows, that's my intention.
It's actually a beautiful site. I mean, your garden in the back is just, you can actually see some of that stone retaining wall in the back and everything. It's kind of really a lovely place.
It was a livery stable
Bailey's
originally.
Livery Stable original.
What was it, livery stable?
The
The
property.
Oh, the property, oh.
Aside from anything else we talk about seating related to the house, it would be wonderful at some point to sit down and have a conversation and record what you remember. Because you have a
Sure.
lot of stuff floating around in both of your heads about that neighborhood.
Mhm.
All right, I guess the only question I have is, you've got a double hung window, but that's a picture window.
Right, that's what the original window was. Like I
Right.
said, they couldn't get anything but that. So if that's,
Well, I guess, would it be possible to get, like a drawing of what types of windows you're planning? Because I think that restoring it to
I
this.
think we submitted that, right?
Yeah. I
It's
don't
in
know.
that, it should be in the pack. The cut sheets are there.
We also have all of the plans.
We had plans
The
from the
drawings.
architect. You
Those
had-
didn't come to us.
Oh, they didn't come to you?
Let me see if the mayor's still here with the office open. Did you give them to Jeff?
Yes.
All right, let's see if that is us. When did you drop them off?
At the time we gave the
Oh,
application.
this is all that was in the file.
But I think we separated this application
Yeah.
from the other application.
Yeah.
I always thought that this door back here looked like you had a prison down there.
Well, originally, when the house was built, that was an open deck with a rail around it, and you drove under the house. That's where the garage was, under the house.
Yeah, but no, I'm talking about this door.
That door,
Oh, that's where the garage was.
yes,
Oh.
underneath the house.
So this was an addition that was added later on? This was not original to the 47 house? This
No, it was
piece here?
original, but it wasn't enclosed.
Oh,
I bet that they went to the ZBA first. Is it possible to get the drawings out of the ZBA file to look at? Do you know where they are?
Not anymore. I don't think.
Let me see if I can find it.
Well, you were right, we should have brought.
I know, we had a copy at home. I could
Oh.
quickly run to Nelsonville if you want.
no.
I don't think it's an issue because, you know, if you're trying to restore it to what it was in 1947, you've got the photograph.
It just came in.
It just becomes a question of, I think that we will probably give you a lot of latitude in how you want it to look. So it just, so that, you know, there are no
Sure.
arguments in the future. It'd be nice to know, you know, pick
Sure.
something and then we can improve.
You know, we wanted that curb appeal, we wanted it to look nice, we wanted to, you know, like I said, we're planning to go there to live, so.
Oh, I see, because you're saying that originally it was,
Originally, it was a
was
one
two-
big picture
One
window.
big picture
Now-
window.
Now it's a picture window with two flankers.
And that was done in,
well, it doesn't
yeah.
even look like it's one window, it looks like it was two.
Yeah, it looks like
It
it
looks like it was
had.
two
That was done in
plate
99.
windows butted to
Oh,
each
this,
other.
this,
No, that was
No, no,
original.
what's there now?
like, this is 75.
That was original. The picture with the siding and the new window.
I'm just curious, do you know why picture windows were what they were using?
I don't know,
Historically?
I don't know.
Now, picture windows were big in the
That's a
50s.
really big piece of glass.
Yeah,
It's a lot of material.
and, yeah, but picture windows were like the cat's meow back then.
But it's also inoperable, so it's an easier thing to
I see.
produce even though the glass is so big.
I see. Okay, that makes sense. I know there's one stuck onto my
Oh,
house when
wait.
I lived on Green Street.
Oh, that's
That was
awesome.
of that era.
So, because they're the large format, why don't we have you walk us through one copy rather than us trying to. When you come to us, when you're ready for the stage, we don't need this size, and we don't have
Okay.
room for it in our
Oh, we were
files.
told to do.
Well, the
Yeah.
ZBA may require
Oh,
that,
oh,
but we
okay.
don't, so don't
Okay.
spend the money doing these for us.
Yeah,
You
11
can
by
do-
17.
11 by 17, okay.
I would save a few bucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what, these are the elevations you'd like? All right, so that instead of one large picture window, you essentially want to do that. Okay,
What's the,
This, no,
what's
this
the-
is existing, or is this
Yeah.
proposed?
That was just
This
proposed.
is proposed.
Oh, sorry.
So what's the
That's
current
the-
front facade?
No, that's the front
This,
facade.
this is the front facade.
the issue is this window here. Originally,
see
it
it,
was
yeah.
one big window.
Okay, so this is existing.
No.
No,
No.
this is
This is what they want.
proposed.
This is what they want.
Okay.
And what's the historic photograph show? Just an
It
Just
shows
one big
single
window.
pane?
one big window with like
One
a
big
divider
pane.
down the middle.
But I think that was probably for, maybe there was storms that were put on it later, because in the oldest, the small black and white
Oh.
photo, you can see it's one piece of glass.
Yeah.
It did have storms later.
Yeah,
That
so they
looks
must
like
have had
the
to get
Venetians
two
on the
storms
inside.
fitted
Yes.
for it.
And there was a huge radiator behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That.
Now, this is probably
Oh,
the
okay.
screen thing.
Okay.
And this is what we're proposing for the back part of the house, two-car. I have a
Yeah, I
one-car
think those are
garage.
the- I think those are screens that were installed. Yeah, so-
Oh, I see.
But in the earliest photograph, I think the vertical lines that you see are the tapes on the.
Yeah.
They are.
On the lines.
Mm. And so is the front door changing as well, or is that staying the same?
The front doors will change.
It is changing, okay.
Yes.
But
Is
we
the
don't.
front door
And
in here?
a lot will be determined by what is approved,
Exactly.
you know, because we're hoping to have a small porch on the
Mhm.
front. And, you know, that will then determine the
Okay,
rest
so
of
the
the
only thing
style.
we're doing tonight are the windows?
Windows and the
Stucco.
siding.
Stucco restoration.
And stucco restoration. We're not doing the front door or the or the.
Or the
We want
garage.
to change it, but, you know.
We haven't
yeah.
I
selected
haven't
one.
decided
Yeah.
yet.
No.
Okay, that's fine.
This is very preliminary, I guess you'd say,
But that allows you to get started on the work.
Exactly.
Right.
instead of just.
Right.
I mean, there was a lot of variety in window configurations at that time. 2/2, sometimes more over, 6/6. There were all sorts of, in these revivals, all sorts of variation in the windows. I
They
don't have
probably
any-
didn't have a lot of 2/2 in the 40s.
By the later capes.
Well, I mean, looking at it, it looks like it was all
Oh.
1/1.
It was.
Yeah.
In the old pics?
Yeah.
Oh, it's in the old pics? No, that's not an old pic.
Well, okay, but I mean.
Yeah, these look like 1/1s.
Yeah, they were all 1/1s.
I mean, if
Yeah, that's
we,
1/1.
if we know there were 1/1, that would be the direction that I would prefer to go.
I would certainly, yes. Yeah, that's what it looks like to me.
And
The
then-
other thing that you may want to point out to her is that there, according to the photograph, there's and even the current ones, there's a mullion between these two windows.
Right.
But that may have been when the windows were modified too.
No, if you look at the.
No, I
Oh,
think
where's
it's only
that?
the same.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's no million in those windows.
Yeah.
Those are 1/1s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right, but the way it was drawn is two of them.
Close together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The gang,
Gang.
instead of having lived together.
Right. Okay, so I guess the question is, how do, what do we get so that we can process this? Well, any comments or questions on the, well, first of all, don't we have to do secret?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
I propose this is a type 2 because it's a modification of an existing structure.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That's good for you. That means no further
That's
environmental
good.
review.
Those 5 by.
So I guess all right, let's take it one step at a time. Okay, does anybody have any questions concerning the replacement window that is being proposed?
Only that, in this portion of the district, under the current standards, vinyl cladding is allowable.
It's a wood window protected by vinyl exterior.
Right, and that is something that gives me pause on this house. I would, because we're working very hard to be authentic, restoring the stucco, being thoughtful about the windows you're putting in. I would prefer to see a metal wrap window, which would have been more typical at the time, and not vinyl. But it is allowable under the current design standards.
Would you actually have metal wrapped windows in?
Well, if you're wanting a wrapped window, it would have been more likely metal than
Well, the
vinyl.
original windows were probably metal.
Metal anyway.
Aluminum.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Solid aluminum, not wrapped.
No, they probably would have been all wood.
or metal in that.
The original windows were wood with, and it had aluminum storm windows.
Oh, that's probably what I was saying, the storm window.
That's my only hesitation about the window itself in this particular application.
I have no objection to the vinyl cladding. If it's okay under the existing standards, I'm fine with it. It's a wood window.
I tend to agree. I think that, I think vinyl clad's fine.
We're not changing the size of the windows, we're not changing the glazing type or anything like that. I think that's,
But you're working hard to take vinyl off the rest of the structure, right? So to then go back on the windows seems to me to,
painting windows is a lot more complicated than painting walls.
all too true. I'm not saying not to have a clad window.
No, I don't think that a clad window is a problem.
I don't think a clad window is a problem either. I'm
Question
objecting
is
in
whether
this
it should be a
application
metal
to
clad
metal.
window or
I'm
a
objecting to
vinyl clad
vinyl
window.
clad.
Yeah, but the thing is that it wasn't metal clad, it was a wood window. and so therefore it was probably painted.
Yeah.
So I think that probably the closer product to that would be a vinyl tile.
Okay,
Rather than,
I'm outnumbered, that's my feeling on
No, I
windows.
agree with you, but what we have in the standards right
Right,
now
it's
doesn't
troublesome.
agree with our opinion, so.
And also, this particular manufacturer of window is one that we've seen before. Like, we can be assured of its quality and resilience.
All right,
Yeah.
so are you applying to replace all the windows at this time, or?
Yes.
Okay,
All the existing ones.
all the existing?
Yes.
Okay, and you said you're gonna replace the front door?
Yes.
Okay, now, you have.
I don't like the front door that's on the house, so.
But you
Well,
haven't selected
I
them.
haven't selected one yet.
Okay.
The original door that was on the house was a slab door,
Mm,
no glass whatsoever.
mhm.
And I don't think that that's what I want to have, but, you know. Again, lots of things were determined by what was available.
Okay, I guess, we can't approve something that we don't know
Of
what
course.
you're proposing, so we're gonna have to take the door out of the application.
Okay.
And so now, so it's the windows, and I guess we've had some discussion concerning the windows. Let's sort of finish does anybody have any objection, strident objection to the vinyl clad?
I have an objection to the vinyl clad, but I recognize that it's allowable under the current standards.
Okay.
I agree.
And you would prefer aluminum clad?
I just think, given the effort that you're making with the structure, I think that you're going to bring distinction back to the structure, and I think that the contrast from the pebbled ash to the vinyl will maybe not be what you're hoping for in terms of a quality finish. But it is allowable under the standards, under the current standards.
And see, I disagree.
Well, we don't need to go over it again.
Yes,
We're at that
all
point.
right. We've gone round and round, and it doesn't sound like it's gonna be a big issue.
Okay, can I make a motion on the windows?
Well, let's see if we can do one motion. I guess the question about removing the vinyl siding, right? Now, you wanna remove this vinyl siding everywhere.
Yes.
Just remove and then, assess what you've got and decide how you wanna proceed after that.
Correct.
But you're proposing to restore the stucco.
Yes.
He knows what he wants to do, right?
Right. Well, the thing is that the area above, in the gable is not gonna have stucco.
No, that's wood.
And
Yeah.
it's drawn, it's wood.
Right. So the issue becomes at this particular point, what we're gonna be voting on, replacing the windows with the Anderson and removing the vinyl siding. That's the application.
And then what are you wanting to see next on the facade restoration?
Well, I'd like to see what
What's under-
he's gonna propose, what Phil has in mind.
Well, I'm hoping to find, okay, that when I take the siding off, that the wood is in reasonably good shape. If it's not, then I would replace it with wood.
Okay. Well, the thing is.
But that's a repair.
Yeah, or a replacement in kind.
Well, yeah, but I mean, right now, in order to proceed, because I think that's why you came to us, you want to be able to get approval to remove the siding.
Correct.
And then after that, he's got to assess what he's got.
But
I don't think I
understand-
necessarily want to do it all at once because, it may take me a while to get it all finished. And how are the neighbors going to feel about having a house that's torn apart on the street for a period of time? I'd kind of like to do one side at a time.
Okay, so then why don't we talk about the front facade?
Okay.
So, sorry, I want to make sure I'm following your logic. If we're restoring the historic facade and replacing in kind the original wood, which we believe to be underneath and in good shape, what is it that we can't approve about that this evening?
Well, we can. The question really is that I was under the impression that Phil doesn't know what he's got underneath, right?
All I know that there's wood there, okay? And I know that there were furring strips nailed to the wood. And I just don't know if the wood is cracked, if it's,
So your intention is just.
But he's not
exact-
going to
you
take
have-
the siding off and-
if they're cracked, or if they're rotten, or whatever.
they'll have to be repaired or replaced.
Okay.
Repaired or replaced, but it's not like you're going to replace it with some
No.
completely different
No.
material.
Exactly.
Definitely not.
Exactly, that's why I'm
Okay.
saying I don't know why we can't approve the whole.
That's right, okay.
All right, well-
I'm not intending to put vinyl siding back, if that's the question.
Okay. See, I guess we can deal with the front facade, but the issue there is that these drawings show a modification to the entrance and extending the, this sloped roof across. So I guess I would assume that she also drew,
Yes,
she also drew existing elevation.
yes, she did.
There you go.
Oh.
Okay. So, I think, and again, 11 by 17 is just fine with us.
Makes life a lot easier.
Yes. And take the front elevation right now. I mean, how many sides do you want to start working on?
Well, I pulled off siding today on the north side. That's what I pulled siding off of,
That side.
yes.
Well, I guess I'm just trying to identify exactly what you want us to approve. Do we want to approve this and this? I mean,
I don't understand why we cannot, I think that what you're asking is a removal of all the vinyl siding and a restoration of the original
Stucco.
surface. And
Stucco.
replacement,
And
and the wood at
and
the
the
top.
wood peaks.
Okay.
And the replacement of the windows. He has selected a window. We have gone in a direction, given the historic photographs, where we're encouraging the use of 1/1. I don't understand why that needs to be an approval in pieces. Obviously, we can't do the
No, I mean,
porch.
even though the work may proceed
At whatever
in
pace he needs.
sequence, we can
Okay,
approve all sides.
Yeah, because
All
those-
sides that are affected by this scope.
All right, because this entire side
That's
is
the
going to change.
rear side. That's
Yeah.
before the ZBA. He's not asking for that tonight. He's asking for the windows on the
Okay,
rest of
well,
the structure.
I know, but what we need to do is we need to tell them the drawings that we need in order to approve, because we can't approve this because this is different, this is different.
Also, these
So-
drawings belong to the ZBA.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we need to be able to.
Have a different set of drawings, yes.
All right, 11 by 17. Okay.
And we are meeting again in 2 weeks in a workshop session, but it can be a voting session if that helps you to get your revised drawings in
Okay.
for a final
For the
approval.
permit.
And is the zoning board meeting next week, do you know, or?
Yes, next Thursday.
So next Thursday. I don't know if the agenda's been set. I don't know if the agenda has been set.
We don't have I know there's one on the agenda, but I don't know the final.
Okay, so here's the application as far as we know right now. Replace all of the windows and remove all of the vinyl siding and restore the stucco and wood exterior
Correct.
to the original house as it is right now.
Okay.
Okay, so what I'm gonna need is this elevation, I guess all of these elevations, because none of this is really gonna change at this particular point,
Right.
we're gonna change that later on. So all of these, 4 individual sheets just showing the removal of the vinyl siding and the
Right.
wooden stuff.
I don't want to complicate anything, but obviously I wouldn't want to remove the siding on this part of the building, because if I get approved for the new addition,
Yeah.
I'll be.
You're not gonna be
working for it all.
restoring that, you're gonna be modifying.
May I make a suggestion? I don't see why we can't use both the the current existing elevations and the proposed, and simply draw on the proposed bubbles of those elements that are before us today that we can consider today.
Well, because I think that one of the things that we were talking about is having a 1/1. These are all drawn as 2/2. So I think we're better off with this because it probably more accurately reflects what we're approving.
Given
Yes.
Given communications, I think that is a good idea, absolutely clear.
Okay? So so that's the application. Do I have a motion concerning the application?
So are you looking to approve conditionally with the submission of updated drawings for the windows?
Yes.
Okay, so I will make that motion.
I will second that
Okay with
motion.
that?
Okay.
So we're getting.
John?
approval.
Aye.
Andrea? Carolyn?
Aye.
Kathleen?
Aye.
Aye.
So that
So
gets you started.
so what we need to submit then is original elevations.
Yeah, essentially this sheet, indicating, if you want to leave this alone, what you do is you draw a line, say existing to remain, and then, but show this as, in other words, the lower portion would be stucco, and the upper portion would be wood.
I just have, after having just approved it, the framing of the windows, the trim around the windows.
The bottom of the windows. Yeah,
Once you get rid of the vinyl off.
bottom of the windows, cast concrete.
Concrete cells.
Yeah. And then the
Are
rest.
they still there?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
At least, on the site that I uncovered. I believe they're all there. They've been covered with aluminum.
So that would be another thing to draw out in your drawing as
Okay.
existing concrete.
And again, there
cells
would have
to-
been no way for the architect to know that.
And
Okay.
on the sides and on the top, what is that?
Sides and top, well, the picture window doesn't appear to have trim, but I think it may have, but all of the rest have wooden trim. Yeah, well, in this,
Your eyes
in
are
this,
better.
picture, you can see trim around the picture window.
Yeah, it's just a simple.
Yeah, you can, yeah, that'd be good. She has a picture of what the sill looks like on her telephone.
So you could print that out and include it with your set.
That's what I
That's on
uncovered
the
today.
side of the house. There's one more
Same cells
photo.
that I have in my house.
Down here,
It's about the same here. right?
well, probably built by
The same.
similar people,
Yeah.
you know?
And didn't he also design Mr. Amalika's house?
Yeah, the,
Oh, the
Across
brick
from
one?
the Catholic Church?
Joe and
Oh,
Lucy's
yeah.
house.
Yeah.
Love that house.
Yeah, he designed, this
Well, you,
same person
you
designed.
knew,
Oh.
Bill Constantino?
Yeah.
Okay, he did the plans for my father's house, Joe and Malika's house, Perk's house. You know, they're all relatives.
That's on the boulevard?
Oh,
mhm.
Yeah.
okay, so, the application was approved. If you can, like I said, 11 by 17s of these 4 elevations showing where the changes are. And I'll pull the clippable pieces of it.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
4
And
copies.
What is her name again?
4 copies.
4 copies. Heather
Heather
Kahn.
Kahn,
Last name spelled.
K-A.
H-N, I think, right?
I think it's K-A-N.
I think it's K-A-H-N.
She's probably in the office.
We worked
and
with
you-
Justin Caper
Oh,
and
okay.
Heather were working with him then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she was sitting by her phone tonight if we needed to call.
Nice.
K-double-A-N.
Oh,
at least on their email.
She's Dutch.
Oh, yeah.
When I was a kid, I painted the inside of one of those houses out there.
Okay.
All set?
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thanks so
Thank
much.
you.
Good
Nice
seeing
to
you
meet you.
guys. Take care.
How's the job?
Doing well.
Good, good.
You know, when Matt Moran originally contacted you, he said the scans were attached to to the email that he sent you, but they didn't come through. So, I mean, what's he doing with buildings 4, 5, and 6?
I have no idea. All right, Julia L. Butterfield Library. Hi, my name
Didn't take those out of your way?
No. I'll put them over here so you can deal with them later on. And watch them all fall.
For the record, my name is Donald McDonald. I'm an architect working with Butterfield Library on their proposal to renovate the lower level of the library. And the project is split up into 2 phases with Jillian Thorpe. Maybe Jillian could talk a little bit about the big picture, and then we could talk about the...
We've been working on a renovation on the lower level of the library for several years now. Al, you remember?
Several.
You remember when you were part of the
Yeah.
planning of this? We have finished our first phase. We're entering into our second phase, and then we'll be followed yet by a third phase. So the phase that we're talking about tonight is going to deal a lot with air issues in the lower level of the library, which basically there is no air down there.
Now the proposed plan is we submitted to you. Here's the stage, and there's the street here, and we're doing it in 2 phases. You come down the stairs in the library now. That's not changing. And phase 1 is to renovate basically. This area has already been renovated pretty much, but we're going to renovate this area. And basically we're going to, one of the biggest problems there is the sound from the lower level goes up to the second level. And so.
Yeah. Bad plan, bad design.
We're proposing basically glass wall all the way across.
Oh,
And
okay, now you guys know that we don't have cognizance over any.
yeah,
No, we're just
we're just
explaining.
trying to
This
do a
is
little
background
picture for you.
information. Okay.
But I can get right to it.
Because it will inform
We
where
need-
air exchanges.
You're gonna understand why we need
Yeah.
air.
I spent a lot of time down there, so
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So we need
Keep
ventilation.
germs circulating.
Yeah.
And so the 2 issues that come in front that we need to talk to you about are, here's the first level of the library. And for ventilation, we need to get air in and get air out. And we're proposing to use a window that is by the right in, it's on the side, and basically blank off the sash portion of the window and make a vent, which we drew for you.
Al, could you hand out the drawings to people so they can see?
Yeah.
There's a set in the back of your.
We can get, some of us can get this.
Oh.
piece.
We have it would be A12 that deals with the venting.
Okay.
So we're basically not changing anything about the window frame or anything like that, just, right, that window right there on the south side. And it works out for us very well because that window is actually the window that the fuel oil tank looks out on. So,
I didn't even know these windows were there.
we,
Those shrubs so deep in front of
it's
them.
not
I didn't
a
even
window
know.
that we would be using.
You live down there.
I know, 19 years of living there. I don't even know.
So that is
Oh, it's a Sherb location.
Oh. typo.
It's okay, architects can't spell, we know that.
That's true, and I can't spell anyway, so I'm a double can't spell.
I mean, you've chosen the locations that have limited visibility. I mean, it's limited by vegetation.
Very
but-
limited.
But it's
very
low, it's
limited.
below.
And then we have an exhaust, and we have to make the exhaust away from the intake, so that's the problem there. So we need at least 10 feet, so we came around, and I think I pretty well showed in my photo, getting into that area is a challenge. So that's on the front.
Yeah.
And even though I know that vegetation can come and go, I am quite sure that if this vegetation went, a new one would be there in a week.
Well, but
So-
even so, when you're, even as a pedestrian right next to the building, it's not eye level, it's,
Right.
you're
Down.
not, it's not where your eye is directed as you're
Right.
entering the building.
Right. And we've taken some time to make sure from the inside, we know where we're coming, and, you know, it works out very well with the plan for the energy ventilation boxes that are gonna drive these things are not small, so we've spent time fitting them into above the storage room. And it just all works out well for us in terms of servicing the space.
And then you've got a pump.
And then we have a heat pump, we have to add one heat pump, and we, that's on A13, and, I have to say that originally we had it in this area, a little slightly different location with the lattice panel, and I have to say that I came to the conclusion that the lattice panel was not very effective in screening it, and it just basically made a big sign for it.
Yeah,
I think
And
so
then
too.
We've had this
we-
discussion before.
Right,
Yeah.
and so we ended up, you know, realizing that we could put it beside the underneath the window. The window goes to the stage, so there's a little buffer there. And also, when I checked the sound levels of the unit, it's basically it's the same as a dishwasher in the other room. That's
Well, I
the
think
comparison.
letting them be what they are.
Yeah,
You're making
right.
a modification that has a minimal visual impact, and it's keeping an historic building in use and comfortably in use.
Yeah.
I would much rather see them simply be and fade into the background than
Yeah.
We just felt this one particular location was the best.
Yeah, you
This-
stand
you
really
don't
dead on, you
really-
can't see.
But even if you
Even
can't
if
see
you could,
it,
it's part of
it's
the
something that
modern
you
policy.
recognize as
You
a
start to see now.
utilitarian
Yeah.
check.
Right.
It's a utility and
Yes.
it's, I mean, technology changes, it's temporary, so.
Exactly.
So those are the issues in front of HDRB.
I have no objections. I think it's very good and
I have no objection.
thoughtfully considered.
I know that it's a
Wait,
different
wait,
way of
wait.
looking at
Before we start, let's go do the
Sorry.
secret. Let's do the secret dance.
Rein
I
us in.
moved it as a type 2.
All in favor?
No, second.
Second, because it's a minor modification so I second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Now you can talk.
I think that in the fact that you're not going to be able to see the equipment from inside the building, to me, is more important than whether or not you can see it from the outside. I know that it's not our purview, but
Right.
I think that when it comes to a library, I'd rather it be visible from the outside and not visible from the inside.
It's also not the trafficked side of the building.
Right.
People walk, move from their vehicles along the passageway on the other side. And when you're in that sort of reading garden, you're focused in the other
Yeah,
direction.
it has a closure.
And I sat in that area and
Yeah.
we still wouldn't go see this one.
No,
Yeah,
you wouldn't
because it's
see
around
it.
the corner.
It's,
Yeah.
it's around the corner and it really felt like a winner.
Okay, I guess the exhaust, I'm a little confused because I know the window that you're talking about as far as
Intake.
the intake. But the exhaust,
It's here.
well, I know that. I'm looking at it and it doesn't have a sill. Is it a window now?
No, the exhaust will be a new opening.
It's a new opening.
Right.
Okay, well,
Right.
that's what I
Right.
thought.
It's got 2 lintels.
Right.
And, you know, again, I thought about a sill, but then the vent I'm using, I think basically it can go right in and we don't have to get into sills and, I don't think that it's a, I think once I started to get into the sill, I was almost starting to replicate the window, and I didn't know whether I wanted to make kind of a monument to the vent. So,
Well, I guess because I would assume that this is gonna be a big finish and as far as the louver.
it's gonna be a what?
Baked finish, Kynar.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not something that's gonna be painted. And I think that if you try to match the brick as much as possible, it should just sort of disappear. With the window on the other side, however, that's a different story. I think that probably if that matches, because the windows are all white, right?
Well, it's kind of a yellow white, and we would, they have standard Kynar colors, and I think we'll pick one that, or we might get it unfinished and, paint it ourselves, prime and paint. But I think, we'd look at standard colors. I've thought about the color thing, but I thought that we weren't getting into colors here.
We're not.
But as much as
Not official.
you're just going off the rails,
That's
that
okay.
makes it a little bit.
That's right, I'm just throwing out some ideas.
Yeah, no.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions?
Nope.
None.
No.
I guess the, all right, you should be able to salvage enough brick that certainly you can restore the masonry to what it was there before.
I think this is about as unobtrusive as possible.
Yeah.
So I will make a motion to accept the application as submitted.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Sean?
Aye.
Andrea?
Aye.
Carolyn?
Aye.
Kathleen?
Aye.
Aye.
I don't Thank you.
Very
Thank
much
you.
appreciated.
In case I lose this.
Okay.
So now we need to move into,
Hang on, let me find my agenda.
here.
No, well, I had one that was already marked up. Keep track of what I need to do over the weekend.
Did you put it in the last file?
Did you just attach it to somebody's application?
Did it get shoved into the model file?
Yeah, it could be. Whatever, but it was C of A, C of A.
Is this it?
That's it. Thank you, Andrea.
Yeah.
I got the minutes on the train, so I had.
I know, it took me way too long. They brought copies.
Come on down. Oh, well, yeah, you might as well come down.
How's everyone doing?
How are you?
Thanks.
Thanks for staying late for me.
You're early.
Yeah.
Yeah, your timing
Our night
actually
is nowhere
was.
near finished.
Yeah. Oh, you gotta have more after this?
Oh, yeah.
God bless you.
All right, before you get started, let's wait for Kathleen to be back.
We can distribute paper.
Yeah, I guess what we need to do is, do I have a motion to move the workshop?
I will move.
Yeah.
Second?
Second, yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
So Ray did something, well, I'll wait for, oh, wait.
Okay, we're in workshop.
Did who leave?
Yeah.
I guess so. He'll be back.
Yeah.
We're in workshop. We
Correct. We
voted.
moved into
We
work.
voted.
Great.
Okay.
I was absent from the room. Hello.
So Ray did the similar format as when we came back in for building 3. You know, as far as he did the as approved and then his as proposed package.
Thank you. Steve looked at 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, because as
I've
approved,
never
was,
seen it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even like to, I think probably 2015
Probably.
was when that was. So I'm like impartial to, we can go through it, but I had no idea what drove the changes. Probably stacking bathrooms or elevators, there's 2 elevator shafts, but, and it's not that we're stuck on the changes either, this is just happens to be what,
So I
Great.
haven't seen these drawings before. Could you
yeah.
walk me, why do I have, these look very similar. Am I? 'Cause it's
Yeah,
two-
well, he boxed everything that
Just check.
might have changed, he put a box around it.
Yeah,
This is
I
as
see that.
approved, this is as
Right.
proposed, so this and this correspond.
Oh, down here.
Yeah.
Okay,
Compare this to
okay. So I'm like
I-
reading the text and I'm like, this is all the same. Okay, thank you.
I guess the only way to look at it is, you know, look at each one, and if there's some comments I can tell Ray, and
So the trim brackets and the pediments, I
Mhm.
should have gone back and looked at 3 again to see how 3 ended up. Are those, were those modifications made on 3 as well, or are these, you don't know?
no, there are no brackets on building 3.
I didn't think so.
Yeah, right.
So,
We gotta put one over the, maybe one under the other.
I'm seeing what this much is now, okay.
I don't understand why it's sort of fussing up what's already a pretty fussy.
Yeah, I don't
Structure.
understand why the trim brackets would be there.
Yeah, they were, you're right, they were on the approved. And I said to Ray, I thought Ray actually said these were planters. Like he was trying to dress this up, below the windows, those 3 windows. But
Wait, where do you mean?
I don't, you know what, I'll let you drive it, you know, if we go left to right or,
All right, let's start at the left side.
On which, southwest?
Southwest elevation, let's start there, starting at on the left side. Added trim brackets.
yes, so building 3 has those brackets.
Which? As approved or as?
As, building 3 as approved.
As, he,
Building 3 as approved, so I think he's matching what was on building 3.
Can I ask a quick question? Did they
Yes.
change the type of shingle? Because why does it look different here from
They
here?
did not.
They didn't? It's just-
his,
Okay,
yeah,
got it.
looks like he maybe got more sophisticated software
Yeah.
or something.
Maybe.
That's the only comment I have on that spot is,
Mhm.
it seems like we're adding fuss on what is already a very fussy.
Mm-hmm.
If it's, unless there's some purpose for it, I don't see the advantage of adding
Mhm.
additional
Brackets.
decorative element there.
Yeah, I wouldn't bother.
On those gable ends.
Okay, change to double door at balconies.
Right.
But I mean, looking at it, okay, so there were originally windows?
It was originally that, again, going to building 3, it's a double door, and he's looking to match building 3, but this has a door and a long window next to it. But building 3 is a double door.
I actually think that's an improvement.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that makes more sense.
And the brackets above, again, I don't think he's opposed to leaving them off, but it is on building 3, so he was just trying to mirror it.
I guess I don't remember that detail on the building as constructed. I'll have to go back and look. I mean, we're workshopping tonight,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Next
So
question?
is this, is this chimney, faux chimney, is that
Yeah, that
hiding
was-
an elevator?
Elevator override.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
so
do we have a
that's-
side view of that?
You,
yeah, that's.
yeah, you probably do.
Kind of where I was going. So wait a minute, but here,
Southwest.
it looks like there was
You had a shed
A
roof
shed
for a
roof
stair tower.
kicking out,
Yeah.
and now this is flush, but we have a fake chimney?
Well, this was a challenge, as I recall, was a
Yeah.
challenge for Ray to deal with
Yeah.
during the design process as well, was how to deal with the headroom,
Yeah.
this override for the elevator.
Yeah, we dealt with this on another building.
And
On
he said it
three.
seemed,
On three.
yeah,
Yeah.
and he said it seems like every year Cone or Otis, they want another 8 inches, you know,
Mhm,
whatever, whatever
Okay.
driving the elevators.
I mean, and can it no longer be the shed
Mhm.
dorm?
That was my,
Or the shed
Maybe if we
dormer?
start high enough up, you know better than me, I just get.
yeah. Why did they add a window? So if this is,
So I think this is a stair tower now, like a stairwell in
Oh.
front, with the
okay.
elevator behind it.
Oh, okay.
So he says, okay, we'll throw another window in at the next stair platform.
I
But
mean-
because of the change of, because you don't have that shed roof, the upper window now looks like it's in a very strange
Mm.
spot.
Because the roof line is coming right over it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, is there any way that could be
Brought
kicked
back
down a
over.
little bit? Could be?
Sure.
Okay.
I'm just
You
gonna.
can take
The
it
lower
down,
window
back to
seems,
it.
I mean, the lower window kind of seems fine because it doesn't really relate to anything,
Mhm.
you know, because obviously it's on a staircase, so it's not gonna be in line with the other ones.
Mhm.
But the upper window just kind of looks really funny.
So, cause I can't, can I see this in plan? I guess I can.
No.
Okay, does this part here, just cause I'm not familiar with this.
Mhm. Yeah, that was the original.
So does this, sorry, I'm losing track.
Another geometry.
Yeah.
Does this kick,
Right.
right,
It's a switchback stair. It looks like the stair goes this
Does
way,
this-
this way, and this way.
so this comes out, this protrudes here, is that correct? It's not, oh, it must,
necessarily.
because here's a roof line.
Yeah, where that
Yeah, never
corner
mind.
board.
Yeah, I
where
just
the
answered
corner
my own
boards are.
question, yeah.
I mean, look, it's new construction, and it seems to me that if you're doing new construction, it's sort of silly to build faux elements that aren't actually there. I think that if there's a way to accomplish the design he originally put forward for that portion with the shed roof, I think it's far preferable than a made-up chimney.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
And there's-
it looks a little hokey to me.
It totally looks hokey, and you're gonna look at it and think, what is that for?
Yeah.
It doesn't, they
Yeah.
don't exist anywhere else on the site, it's sticking way up, it's sort of in a strange location on the roof.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And when he struggled to get to this point,
Mm-hmm.
I felt like he'd made an accomplishment. With the
Except
shed.
I don't see it on the other elevations.
It's on the as approved, it's not, it's a shed roof there.
I know, but.
You're saying the side.
No, you don't
Side.
see it, that's the thing, it's just, so there's weird things sticking up out of the roof that is strangely located and means nothing.
I think on building 3, we created like a 3-sided with a
Something by
with
the
a louver
cupola.
under it for the ventilation or.
It looked like, as I recall, it's like it extended the base on the cupola or something.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Um,
Do you have a site plan on you?
Sorry, I don't.
Okay.
you can pull it out of the file if you want to go into the filing cabinet.
I'll make sure I bring
It's
one
where
next time.
it's where the site is cleared behind 3. One thing that's not called out on the drawings as a modification are these round vents in the gable ends.
Yeah.
And again, sort of adding to the fussiness.
Mhm.
I understand why you need vents, but could maybe not introduce a new geometry. They can be triangular or rectangular rather than the
Well,
circles.
except those vents come out. You're looking at that's as proposed.
As proposed.
Yeah.
They go in, they're not on the proposed, I mean, on the
Yeah.
original.
Which elevation are you talking about?
So on the
I'm talking about
southwest
these
elevation,
things,
as
yeah.
proposed,
Mhm.
there's
Right,
one
dead
on the
center.
gable end here, and then on the northeast, there are 2.
Mhm.
He could mirror that other
just
But-
something that's not a
yeah.
new geometry.
Okay.
It's already so complex and so big that I think adding those details like that are gonna draw the eye up and amplify it.
There's something very strange between the two northeast elevations, the proposed and the approved. The approved is longer and it has a big shift over here.
Say that again?
The approved, if you match the match lines, okay,
Yeah.
and the approved looks about, I don't know, maybe 5 feet longer, and the second floor on
Oh,
the
yeah.
proposed shifts further to the left, probably
Yeah.
about 10 feet. I mean, it's a
I can't.
fairly
Yeah, I
major
don't-
change there.
I don't, it could be that each drawing itself is not to scale on each paper.
Well, it's
But-
got the same scale.
Yeah.
They got the
I know
same
what you're
scale
saying,
and it's, and it's, you know, it's not hand drawn, it's, you know,
Well, actually, it looks like it was, the dormer went away and the front facade shifted out. This lines up with that, but this lines up with that.
Well, and the end is completely different now.
See?
We haven't gotten down there yet. Should we keep making our way through?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
let,
you've
yeah.
got your
let-
proposed up there, I've got mine switched around, I've got the proposed.
All
up
right,
on.
yeah, so let's
Approved.
finish with
Do that.
the southwest.
Southwest.
Okay,
Gotta do it.
the transoms that he's proposing on, the window, seems like awfully small.
Yeah, they seem really
Mhm.
dinky.
Where are you looking?
Here.
Yeah, maybe he was trying to match the top of the door, but yeah, I could,
Yeah, but the
I
top
can
of the
see
door
that.
transom seems much larger, I mean, it seems
Mhm.
almost like little squished.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Like-
I would much rather see the window just pushed up.
Okay.
I mean, as it is, that window's, it's gotta be awfully low, because I'm looking at the door, and, you know, there's not that much distance between the top landing at the door and the bottom of the window.
Mhm. That's the recreation center there,
Mm-hmm.
just to give you an idea of what that part of the building is.
Okay, well, that transom seems like it's, you know, being insignificant or,
Yeah.
What was the commentary on balconies?
I don't think, I think we jumped ahead.
Right now, we're talking
Yeah.
about the,
Yeah, these.
transoms in the attic.
okay.
So you're trying to is he trying to distinguish that portion of the building from the residential portions of the building? Is that what you mean when you say that?
Yeah,
'Cause-
it might be his thought.
Well, it also just looks like he's trying to use the same size window, but give it a little bit more height.
They don't particularly bother
Bother me
me.
necessarily. Because it is concentrated in that one section and it's the lower section, it's that sort of
Mhm.
connective tissue between the two portions of the building.
But they seem to be narrower windows than the ones on the approved. They seem to be wider,
Yeah,
or
smaller.
well, the trim is certainly different.
Yes, the trim is lighter. And you don't have the brackets, oh no, the
See.
approved, yeah, the approved had brackets underneath the upper story window, oh no, there's a line drawn through it.
So if we, just getting back to what you were mentioning before, if you look at the match line on those two, they line up. But then, when you look at the back of the building, you compare the backs, the match line doesn't. So I think he picked this jog over here to change his match line location. So we'll have him
Well, no, because what's happening here is that this part's changing right over here.
On the end.
See, you can see this, if you line up this corner board with this, then
See how there's
Here.
this line right here? I don't get it.
Oh.
Thought maybe he decided to break it and
it
then,
could be. But certainly there is a change here.
yes.
Yeah, the change.
But on the front, it looks, you're right, it must be how you perceive it, what the building does as it goes to the back, because in the front it looks the same.
Okay, anything else on the southwest elevation that we want to mention?
The trim brackets on the top end, same comment to Ray, doesn't necessarily need there's another 3 brackets.
Yeah.
But those do correspond to what was approved on building 3 in
In the
September.
modification.
Yeah.
I mean, if they correspond, I understand that it's purposeful. And at this point, it doesn't,
Is it building 3?
Yeah.
doesn't make that much difference, really. So what was the conclusion on the transom?
That, well, I don't think that we have one, just something for Ray to consider. I think it was,
Yeah, I mean, my feeling is that it seems to be superfluous, and, you know, the opinion was sort of split.
I think the trim that's on the approved, on those windows as approved is also superfluous. I don't mind the distinction. If he is indeed trying to make distinct that portion for its use, I think that the windows he's proposing this go-round sit more comfortably on the facade with all of its pattern than the heavy
Yes,
hoods do.
I agree.
Yeah.
something I wanna call to your attention is, you know, the lights that we had on building 3 and that were also shown, these big head Freds I call them, for parking lot. We were able to fit light poles, so they're not on the building at all.
At 3.
At 3, and not proposed for this. I know you guys they asked us to try and get them off, put them on a pole, so.
Great.
Yeah.
What were the,
These 2 above the rim?
No. This shape.
It's on the, as approved.
These southwest,
Ooh.
right,
Oh, I see. They've all been
because we
removed.
only have, 5 feet and then there's the,
Right.
but because of the jogs in and out of the foundation, we
Mhm.
found a pocket here or there and we're
Mhm.
putting them in.
It's definitely preferable. What was the, just out of curiosity, I went to the post office one day and there were a bunch of circles cut into the siding on 3 that if they had been lights, that would have been a million lights. It couldn't have been for lights, it must have been venting or something.
Yeah, dryer exhaust or.
I wouldn't even
something
think about dryers.
Yeah.
I didn't notice when I went back the next time what they were filled with. I'll have to look. Okay. So that's a plus as feedback, right? That those are gone.
Yeah.
Well, I guess on the, are we on the northeast elevation?
We're still talking to the southwest, aren't we?
The as approved, this set of double doors here on the first level and here, they seem to be of entirely different scale. It's like a wider entrance. It is a wider entrance.
Where, can you point to it again?
This window here and
This, this is the main entry
yeah.
right here.
And so the approved seems to be wider and larger than the one on the
Yeah,
on the
it
proposed.
looks,
And
yeah, it
everything
looks-
else is sort of in the same scale, but those aren't.
Yeah, it looks like the line weights between these two drawings are kind of making it do funny things.
yeah.
No, the spacing there is definitely different.
Okay. I'll make a note for Ray.
Well, yeah, it also looks like there's a scale issue too,
Mhm.
because if you hold it to the match line together, you can see that the as proposed building is slightly wider than the as approved building. So maybe just when he was preparing the file, it got a little, I don't know what, although you would think that would have made the door seem wider, not smaller.
Yeah, because other things pretty much match up on the southwest, it's on the northeast that they're really wonky.
12/13.25.
What are you referring
Pitch on the roof.
I've lost track of, oh, here, never mind, I got it back. The window to door, going to double door switch.
Yeah, this was one whole straight line, and then here it does a jog. You notice that? Here it was just one straight ridge, and here it's and chunk, like a chunk out of it. But this is a steeper roof than this one
Got it,
is.
I see it.
I think when I was looking at the approved, it looked like, you see this northeast? I think it missed getting on his plan, this piece of the roof is, if you look at the northeast this way, it looks like that chunk of roof, now go to the front elevation. It couldn't disappear, right? So here, now if you flip the paper, so if this is on the approved, and then you go down to the bottom,
No, that's not
That's
what
the
I'm
back.
That's not what I'm referring to. I'm referring to
The opposite end
the
of the
south,
building.
the southwest.
Yeah, if you compare here, the ridge continues through, over here it drops.
Yeah.
It seems like the massing of the
Right.
building has changed slightly.
And then at the
Bunch of
back,
places.
it never got picked up that it was there to begin with. You know what I mean? This is the back of this.
Well, except this is this,
Yep,
so there is a jog.
yep. Where he,
Whereas originally, he didn't have that,
right,
because
The
originally.
pitch of this roof is different from the one here.
Yeah, but see, originally, this, it should have been here,
right.
Yeah.
but it wasn't.
It was like typo or whatever
Yeah.
you call it.
Drafto.
Well, there's also something on the north.
So is it-
On the northeast that's strange, because here it shows that there's a little balcony overhanging,
Right.
and there ain't one here.
Yeah.
Well, the balcony's on the proposed.
Yeah, so that must be on the other elevation.
Well, also the windows, all right, so what portion are we concentrating on right now?
Well, is everybody finished with the southwest? We'll
Yeah.
shift to the northeast, starting at the left.
So there's another window, hang on one second, as approved.
Well, that entire facade is really changing quite a bit.
Well, there's also,
Yeah.
there's a window that's not marked out, a window goes away. Above the door, at the far end of the southwest facade.
Southwest?
I'm looking at the southwest,
Mm-hmm.
all
Yeah.
the way at the right end of the page.
Mm-hmm.
There's a double door, and above the double door, there's a window on as approved, and it's gone on
Well,
as
he's,
proposed.
he's got it marked in red on the as approved, but he just doesn't have it called out that it's been removed.
But, right, that's what I'm saying.
Mhm.
In other words, there's a window here.
So, which one is it? Is the window staying or going?
Well, yeah,
Go.
that's what he needs to tell us.
Right.
This one. Okay, so are we now in the northeast?
Yes.
On, I can
That's
offer,
all changing quite a bit.
yeah, I wanna say, I know that this large glass door here, he wanted to give it prominence because that is the huge recreation room.
Can you point to it? I had my head down when you were pointing.
That, the reason he put 4 doors together is that is like the main meeting room.
Okay,
And he
but
wanted
this
to-
must be building out, because I see there's a porch on top.
Right.
Right.
He wanted to, because all our balconies are watertight. We have, you know, they're, so he wanted to have a certain distance of covered protection from the rain.
Mm-hmm.
What do people think of the double columns? Seems like that's sort
It
of
seems incongruent with the rest of the.
gilding the lily.
Well, it's just anomalous. I don't recall them anywhere else.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they have columns here at the entrance.
Single columns.
Single columns, but
Yeah.
double columns.
Double columns a little much.
So that I guess it would be nice when Ray comes, if he could sort of bring plans so that we can see if what's changing in plan. Because I would assume that balcony is it project the same, or as the original balcony, which was. I can't. I would have to assume that projects out further.
Right, you don't want it to come out 30 feet, so.
Not 30
Right.
feet, but I mean, it's certainly, the original one just had these double doors and the little Juliet.
They
balcony.
removed a window too, from.
Yeah, he,
I see this.
I'm down at the bottom, so this is as proposed, as approved.
Okay, so I'm looking at, right here. So,
Yeah, I think he changed the whole
having trouble
Yeah, the
locating
whole
it.
thing
facade.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
This, right here, that's different
proposed,
than
right.
this.
I don't understand why we had 6 over 1s in the center portion of the building in the first go round. But it looks like that loop is closed on the as proposed.
Oh, next to that French door, isn't it?
Mhm.
Yeah.
In between the 2 bays that are now removed.
Yeah.
If we look at the far left of
2
the
bays,
building,
Yep.
yeah, it should have been bubbled. There's a single door behind the balcony where there's 2 on the approved.
Yeah, I think that whole section, like to Al's point,
Yeah.
is only really gonna make sense if we can kind of see what's going on
Mhm.
in plan, because in the proposed drawing,
that whole area just gets a little wacky with what is relating to what.
Okay.
It was it was very orderly before, and now it all seems,
Just all over the place.
yeah, it seems like things are shifting. And I don't know if it's because of walls or if it's just trying to not make the facade seem too cluttered or something, but
But,
I mean, the location where it, I think it makes more sense, or the only place where it makes sense, is at the far right, where the spacing between the windows is more balanced than
yeah,
the
that I
rest of the
think looks
facade.
good.
It just sits more comfortably with the rest of the facade, because the spaces aren't so wide.
Well, and also it's, the windows are separated, they're not ganged up.
Right.
Which, yeah, that's an improvement.
That's on the far right?
On the far right, yeah. The windows in the stairwell, I think, look kind of more appropriate than on the other facade.
In terms of sizing,
Just in terms of sizing, kind of where they're sitting. The upper one is a little close to the roof, but I think because it's a bigger window, it doesn't look as,
squashed.
yeah, it doesn't look like it was like a rocket that hit the ceiling. And also having it looks like they removed there was a door previously and now it's 2 windows. I guess they moved the emergency exit or something. And the vents over, the vents on the gables in what were previously being treated as bays.
Yeah, that's what I was calling out as a new geometry that doesn't work. If it reflected any other geometry that's there, because there's a lot to choose from, I think you wouldn't even notice them.
Yeah,
Does it
this is like some stuff. It was whatever we looked at back in February.
Are they on that building?
The ovals? Yeah, they are.
So I think
The
you
vents.
just carried it over.
all right, I
You
gotta,
could take them off, I'm just
Yeah.
saying it's on building 3.
There's a little Oculus in building 3 too, above the entry, and then it's repeated there. The vents being oval didn't really jump out at me, to me as being strange.
What's the purpose of the vent? I'm sorry if I missed that.
attic ventilation.
Right.
So you've got opposing feedback on those.
I mean, I think that even if it's not something it's a very common shape for a vent on a gable.
I know, it's just so suburban, contemporary looking, these round, wacky shapes in the midst of an attempt at clean lines and symmetry, not clean lines, but uprights.
Yeah, I mean, but I think it would be inappropriate if it was a, like, lancet shaped or a triangle or square. And there's only so many shapes in the known world of
I
geometry.
don't know, I mean, I guess what I'm saying is that you've got gable ends that have triangular features in them already, and then these have a different feature. There's so much going on
Right.
on this facade. It just, to me, it's like, it's one more thing that doesn't have to happen and be distracting and draw the eye up to what's already a very tall building.
Yeah, they look like eyes.
I guess, where does this match up with 2A and 2A? This building at the end. The rec center. Supposedly, it's supposed to match up with 2.
I think it matches with northeast elevation,
Okay, continuation.
although I
All
don't
right,
see,
but
I don't
where
see
does-
match line,
Yeah,
but
where does it tie?
as proposed. It's northeast elevation, but he doesn't put a line on it. Should show a match line.
Are we missing a page?
No, I think you just,
I think we
because
need
it
to.
definitely, the grade is going down and you're heading towards the garage door, so it's definitely the northeast, it is northeast. But
Yeah, it says, because
doesn't
it
seem to
says
match.
northeast
Yeah.
continuation, and number 4 is continuation. Number 4 does in fact match up with the match line here,
Mhm.
so,
Okay, I got
you
the
can
wrong
tell.
match line.
Yeah. Okay, so,
Well,
let's go back to the northeast elevation on 200. All right, so I guess it seems like the windows are all over the place as opposed to what was there originally. And I just have to wonder, it seems like you should be able to organize them a little bit better than what's going on.
I mean, it's a different order. I don't know that it's necessarily, I wouldn't respond to it saying it's all over the place.
Well,
The windows are, like, I'm looking at, like, maybe this is what they're saying now. See how the windows line up here?
no, I'm
They
talking
don't.
about, I'm talking about this.
Oh,
this
down
one.
there, I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
down
sorry.
there. Down in the rec area.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he dropped in that big entrance.
Yeah.
And then it shook up the windows and all over the place.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Oh, now, yep, I see on approved,
Yeah.
they did roughly line up, and now we have, it would be really helpful to have the plan. It's difficult to read without the plan.
It's hard to not know, what informed this change.
Okay, added windows, adjusted the pitch.
And also just knowing what's immediately beyond that match line.
Well, that and also, you can point out to him that he changed this over here.
What?
Just so it was.
Is this, can you see how?
Yeah.
There's Muntins that work.
This. Yep, I got it.
And why, they've not changed or have they consistently with what he's proposing in the southwest?
Seems that the pitches of all these roofs have changed.
Okay, and let me ask everybody this, the big paneled windows with the panel underneath, that all goes away. Does anybody have a problem with that?
Where are you talking about?
Yeah.
On the bay?
Just, yeah, the removed bay and here.
I think it's better not to have the fussiness, yes.
Yeah, no problem with that.
So we're sort of in agreement with the simplification.
It's I don't know if I'm lined up the same way it works. So here, oh, so this was added, this little railing system.
Yes, I think that's a.
What is that
It's a-
for?
You'll see it on building 3. These are your balconies for those top
CPs,
floor.
You think he might be, yeah, that right
I
there.
think he's just mimicking
He's
what's
just
on
trying to
building
make
3.
everything consistent.
Yep,
Okay.
but I'll circle it because he didn't show.
Yeah.
Yeah, the roof
Yeah, he
height
did it
seems to have
there and then he
changed
did it
hugely also.
here too,
Mhm.
and didn't reflect that change.
Do you have a scale on you?
In your bag, he always has a scale.
Don't worry about it, I'll just use a piece of paper.
He's getting it. I think you're right.
I can rent it to you, Carol.
Yeah, and the same thing has
Yeah,
happened
too
on the back.
expensive for you.
On page 2, and he's called it out.
What are you
Kind-
referring to,
kind
Sean?
of. Andrew was noting that on the proposed, the northeast elevation,
Uh-huh.
and I guess the southwest elevation, the third floor balconies are
There's a
kind
little
of trimmed
raise.
out in a different way, instead of it being just, there's like a little,
Yeah, like an area where it looks as if you could stand.
well, that was always there, but it's trimmed out with,
A little roof, in other words.
Yeah.
Railing.
yeah.
It's like the top of building 2, the front side of building 2 that ended up with that
Right.
faux balcony space.
It seems that he's probably trying to bring in some of the language from building 3
Yeah.
into this building, but this building is so much bigger. It's,
I think what it is that the proposed roof pitch is lower than what was originally approved. And
oh.
when you, see, this is a little cut-in balcony.
Yeah,
And so when you cut it in at a lower
he
pitch.
had to bring it up to code.
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay. Which is exactly what happened on building 2.
Why is the roof pitch changing?
I have to ask him. Yeah.
It'd be
Um,
helpful if you could.
Because
supply
all these
that
gables
information.
have different pitches from the
Yeah.
proposed.
Yeah, and on the second, are you on the second page? Is anyone?
No,
No.
not yet.
Oh.
Not yet.
Just charging ahead.
Come
Sean.
on.
Sorry.
Come on, Sean.
There's
Give
a
us
lot
a break
going
here.
on the
I think it's on
third page.
schedule. Great.
I'm sorry, this is late. Maybe didn't. What else is with yours?
Yeah.
All right, so what are we drawing out on page 2?
Well, on the northwest elevation, I mean, it's, the shape of it is totally
Mm-hmm.
different.
That is confusing. Scale's the same.
So it's become, so northwest elevation, so this is facing into the courtyard, right? It's facing, it's not facing
This-
9D, it's facing into the,
This
Parking
faces
lot.
Steve Marino's, like,
The Grove.
area over that way.
yeah, okay.
Oh, so this faces, northwest faces Grove Court?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Right, I mean, just so I know I'm not going crazy. These are completely different.
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Yeah, I think to some extent, and I don't know if he's got this in Revit or not, but
Mhm.
seeing it in 3D would be a lot easier to understand than this, because it looks like an entirely different building, and in reality, I'm not sure what it is that we're looking at. I mean, obviously, we now have a dormer, whereas before it seemed like it was a bracket of some sort.
And the roof line
Yeah.
changes entirely.
It's completely
I mean, the windows changed, and so, you know, fine.
Yeah.
I think as far as the changes to the window configuration on this facade,
On the second and, well, I guess the first and the second floor and in the, smaller gable, in the new design, it actually kind of makes a little bit more sense. It fills the space a little bit better. So I don't really have any problem with that, but just this new gable side that's happening, I don't have any perspective of how far it's extending out from the building or anything.
Yeah.
So I think to Al's point, if we could see that in either an axonometric drawing or in like some sort of a.
Is the height, the overall height changing?
Yes. Oh,
I
sorry.
mean, that's what it looks to me, that the overall height is changing, and that's a deal that's beyond us.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the overall, the,
I mean, it's very stark on this the page 2 northwest.
Yeah.
Where it seems as if the roof height
The roof height definitely looks like it's taller.
modifies dramatically.
Yeah, probably by a foot or two.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice if he gave us some elevations to the top of the building.
Well, Al, I also, I mean, I wonder too if we are talking about height modifications, that's something that ZBA needs to look at.
Right, I mean, if it's going up, but I mean, if he's lowering the pitch, then the height would go down.
Yeah, but he's making the pitch steeper.
Well, that and also looks like grade is changing. I mean, the grade on the northeast elevation pitches down, whereas originally the way it was shown was relatively flat. So there are some grade changes that are occurring.
mm-hmm.
Well, I think that might have simply been drawn wrong in the first place.
Could have been.
No, I think it's a change in grade, because look at the position of the door itself, it's like it's,
Yeah.
they must be doing
Doors.
different excavation, because the door got lower and the window got bigger.
This door?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, on northeast.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Northeast.
On the northeast.
We have to get down to that garage door.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
over there, so I think it may have been drawn wrong on the approved, because we have to get down to one, not really.
I'm talking about the man door in the middle. That door there, yeah.
I'm looking
Yeah.
at that too.
And it's just
So the
dropped
garage,
so much.
this garage door
Mm-hmm.
is here.
Well,
It's also-
but
it also
the thing
seems-
is that the proposed is in fact higher.
Yeah.
Because more grade is exposed. You're at grade measurement.
No,
No,
I'm
if you're
drawing
going
it,
from
I'm
the
drawing
same
it from
sill level.
the bottom
sill
band
Uh-huh,
to the top, to the ridge.
okay,
So it has nothing to do with the grade.
okay.
So then, is that something that needs to be referred to the other boards?
ZBA at least.
Well, yeah.
Yes.
The question really is that, and if I remember correctly, this issue had to do with the fact that it had a third floor.
Yeah, he can't go over two and a half stories, 35 feet,
Correct.
so he has to prove that out. So I can ask him to bring it.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the northeast elevation, the proposed is clearly a longer building than. Some margin.
Which elevation is that?
The northeast.
Northeast.
That's the mystery match line.
So the balconies that are coming off the, like, left side of the northeast elevation here are, was that a mistake in the first drawing? Or was something added?
That's, I think you're looking at this,
Is that, oh,
or this, one of the two.
okay, so then it was just omitted from the first drawing? The approved drawing?
No, it was on the first drawing,
They were just
the
shorter.
southeast.
What were you talking
No,
about?
she's talking about northeast.
Northeast.
Oh, north.
This is,
Yeah,
this is
they are
the
not
fir-
on the as approved, they do show on as proposed.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, I see, the ones that are sticking off the edge.
Well, it says added balcony.
Yeah, cause on the other drawing,
Oh, added,
they're
okay.
added on the other side.
On the other side, okay, yeah, I was just wondering if that lined up the way I thought it was, okay.
I mean, I guess I'm having a hard time following goals here without understanding what's happening behind and what's driving and understanding roof line modifications and height changes. There's a lot happening here. And maybe in the next round of drawings, some of these things will be more clear, but I'm not even sure how to give feedback on this.
Well, I think that the way the feedback is to have a 3D version of it. Because there are a lot of shape changes. I mean, in the past, we've looked at, okay, you combine the window here, you move the window there. But here, obviously, the shape of the building has changed. And so I think we need to be able to understand that a lot more clearly than just the 2D drawing.
And also the percent changes, the allowance for change on these buildings is locked in pretty tight, so, I think that another board needs to be seen as well.
Another what?
Board needs to be seen as well.
Well, let's, yeah, I mean, ultimately, probably we need to talk to.
I mean, this has not
to-
been
to
referred,
Jeff.
oh, no, it was not referred because it was a modification to a previously approved application, so it did not get a new referral, but our board
Yeah, and then we can't,
can make the recommendation.
Yeah, we can't, well, I mean, I would think Jeff would be the one who has to make the referral,
But
but
he's not
he-
going to
he
make a
hasn't seen-
referral.
He hasn't seen this.
Because it is a modification to a previously approved application, that's how it was coming in. But the degree of modification is like substantial. And we're also talking about height in some areas of this building.
Right.
And so
And length.
that's, and length. And if you recall, it's a very tight percentage for allowable change on this plan. And that's a planning board issue, that's a site plan issue.
Right.
And I think that this needs to be referred to the planning board to look at, to make sure that they're within their allowable shifts.
Okay,
Yeah, I agree.
but Jeff needs to make that referral.
Understand, but we need to communicate to Jeff,
Yeah.
because he's not seen the degree of changes, we need
Yes,
to communicate
yes,
to Jeff.
Yes, agreed, agreed.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Lot of change.
Okay.
Thank you.
Got to work it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, do you want my notes, a copy of this, and then sent to you, or no? Okay.
And we've all been marking up
Yeah.
our versions.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for
Good luck.
staying late.
Thank you for coming.
Okay.
You have to hang
I'm going to hang on.
Don't you want one?
Made a little,
Okay.
no, this is workshop, it's not the
Oh,
actual
yeah, what am I
one.
saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
See you later.
Thank you.
No, I do want to.
Yeah, I think if there was any way to
What's
see,
going on?
Mass comparisons, yes.
I was just gonna say, see a 3D model of it that's, we can flip around and look at it.
Yeah, or even just
Well,
seeing things in
if,
plan.
now, if I remember correctly, early on, what he had done is shown us some SketchUp.
Well, yeah, but these are a little, these are a bit,
No, well, let me finish. SketchUp is a 3D model. So he should be able to show us 3D versions of it. if it's just in SketchUp. I would assume that since he's shifting to construction documents, that he must have a more robust 3D program like Revit.
I don't know. I don't know
20 the
what he
Boulevard,
has.
we saw, wasn't that SketchUp for 3D modeling? Was on there?
Okay, so we have Mr. Dr. Pepper here, waiting to talk about his windows.
But if he, you know, I would assume that he's got
Come
some
sit,
version
sit.
Hello, all.
Hi, thanks for waiting.
You got it.
We're only 10 minutes behind schedule.
I know,
Just
but
keep
it's
things in
like-
perspective.
I know.
I know,
Just feels like
it
you've
was
been-
my problem, because I didn't look at the actual, I didn't see that the agenda had times to it.
Sure.
So I came at 8 not realizing I was
Oh,
scheduled
no.
for 9:50. And then I saw it around 9:10, and then I was like, all right, I'm gonna go walk my dog and. But
I met
but
your
then-
new dog.
You met her, yeah?
Yes, ran into Michelle the other day. She was walking Cody.
Cody?
Kobe.
Kobe.
Oh, I thought it was Cody.
No.
Listen,
It was,
listen.
it was a stray rescue, originally named after the beef. So we
Ah.
decided
Oh, yeah.
that we couldn't have a dog named after someone's dinner, so we kept the sound and changed the spelling.
Right. Kobe was also the mascot for the 1992 World's Fair.
Oh.
So, there you go.
Well,
Trivia night here.
Trivia
wait,
night.
The 1901?
92.
I didn't know there was a 1992.
There was.
They're still doing
Where
one
the-
there?
Yeah, I know. I
Not
thought
in
that was like
America,
a
but they have it in
old
Europe.
thing.
Somewhere.
Okay.
We are no longer allowed to participate in World's Fairs.
No,
or
we have been
expos.
banished from the World's Fairs.
Okay.
Maybe they vanished.
Well, we banished
Does
ourselves.
anybody not think this is a repair,
It is not a repair, it's window replacement.
Not a repair.
window replacement?
It's one of
Yeah,
the replacements.
it's complete replacement of the windows on the main mast.
So, yeah, these are the same windows that we
Yeah,
previously.
it's the same windows that were
Approved, right?
Right, and we
Okay.
asked, you'll recall that we asked the Cuppers to maintain the windows on the original portion of the house.
Mhm.
And they very thoughtfully selected the replacement windows for the rest of the house. Go ahead.
Yeah. And basically, we tried to fix up the windows as best we could, and my contractor actually wrote a little attestation to it. He took the windows out, tried to repair them. But right now, we're just, there's insulation aspect, and the biggest thing probably, especially for my daughter's room, is bugs. We literally are taping up along all the windows so bugs aren't getting in. So these windows are just permanently closed.
Is
Can't
that a
be.
problem with stink bugs?
Mhm.
Oh, it's
Beyond
ants,
stink bugs.
flies, mosquitoes are all coming So,
Okay. Do I have a motion on secret?
I move that it is a type 2 minor modification.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so the window's gonna match the other windows.
yes.
Any questions?
I just have a question. So on the new, the new windows on the
Mhm.
new, totally new
New
side,
side, yeah.
section 3.
Hmm.
Did they also have the same, did you have the same hanging, screens hardware, or is this
This
going to
is,
be-
this is the new, this is the old.
Remember,
Right, but
Right.
did you use this type of hardware on the newest section as well?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I don't remember that.
this is actually this is from.
Oh, this is a photo
this
of
is
yours.
a photo
This
of
isn't-
ours.
okay.
That
Oh,
was
I
one
see.
of the reasons when we were looking at the addition, we were so pleased with these windows because they
Mhm.
were
Right,
a replication of the large storm and screen.
Mhm.
right, okay.
I mean, it breaks my heart to lose the wavy glass.
Yeah.
And I hesitate because that's from the public right of way. That's one of the things that identifies the original mass of the house.
Mhm.
I entirely understand from a user's perspective and from an energy efficiency perspective.
We're also, I mean, there's some concern, and while it's theoretical, because I don't know, but of the noise perspective.
I think that
Noise
that's,
reduction.
that's real.
Especially with what's being built directly across the street from us.
Yeah, and what will be. I mean, I agree that the glass is a big element too, but I also think that, you know, if all of the proportions are gonna remain the same, if
Yeah.
all the shapes, these like 2 little mini windows and everything, I think that is telling a great deal of the story as well of the original
Well, and the
mass.
new windows really are faithful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're, yeah. How, I mean, it looks like it was done originally, but I guess just the shutter hardware
Mhm.
has some sort of a profile to it that allows you to have these removable screens and everything, and they can
Yes.
fit behind it somehow. It's just kind of hard to.
Yeah, we haven't changed that at all.
And the
And
new
we
windows
have
will
them.
work with that
Yeah.
as well.
Are they located?
They're located.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, you guys
Are
have
the-
Awesome Paper, right?
Yes.
He likes those
It's the
windows.
same maker that we approved before.
Yeah. They're nice
Okay.
windows.
Well, I guess the one question I have is, are these going to be replacement windows? In other words, how much of the original frame is going to be retained as opposed to? If you look at this, you can see there's a certain distance here, which, you know, if you add, I guess it's kind of hard to see because the shutters are on the way. But I guess replacement windows are where they take out the sash and they put in a whole new frame within the existing frame.
Okay.
Is that what you're doing, or are you replacing the window in its entirety, including the frame?
To be honest, I am working on this with my contractor and didn't get an architect involved, and I'm not quite sure.
But your contractor,
I'm-
Gary Wood, would know.
He would know the
He would know,
difference, yeah.
right. And he's the one who told me that it should be no problem keeping the external with the shutters
The framing.
looking as it is, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because otherwise what ends up happening is that you end up taking out, and you've probably seen this before, but, so all of that
Right,
comes out and you have a big nasty hole.
yeah. And then you have to.
As opposed to
Just the sash.
just the
Right.
sash. So, that's the difference.
Yeah.
But he would know what you're talking about.
Yes, yes.
But you want to do the big nasty hole method, because then that way your
That's very likely
your
what's
glass
going to
stays
happen.
the same size.
Yeah.
The
Right.
proportion stays.
Yeah.
The same, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Is that
yeah.
something
Yeah, I
that we
believe
can
it's-
note on the application that they, or on, I mean, we don't have drawings of it. And is it, which are the, is it,
Excuse me.
how many of the windows will it be?
I
on the-
actually was told that that was the one thing you wanted, so I didn't make a copy quite for everyone, but I made
Oh.
a couple of
Yeah.
copies, and it shows, and the asterisks
Mhm.
and the stars are the numbers that will be
Yeah.
potentially replaced. And I'll be honest, we're hoping not to necessarily have to replace all of them.
Mhm.
Right.
But I'd like to get approval for it, so
Uh-huh.
that if it works, we could, or if we find we've done a partial replacement and there's still issues, we can replace the others.
Mhm.
How about these?
Actually, it's on here. It's gonna be, actually, it's.
Right, those two.
Those two for certain, and then we'd like to have the ability to do these as well. In all honesty, yep. Our biggest concern is the second floor, because that's
Mhm.
our kids' bedrooms.
Yeah.
And that's really the real issue. Like I said, while we're doing this and with what it takes to get the
Yeah.
approval and all that, we'd like to
Right.
get approval for all the windows, but especially due to cost and stuff, there's a
Mhm.
good chance we won't be doing them all at once,
Mhm.
so.
So, what is the window that we did approve? Is that a wood window?
It is a wood window.
The
Yeah.
really spectacular LePage windows.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean, if
if
they
I'm-
had to be replaced, it's good to see that they're being replaced with those windows.
Okay, how about in, all of the window trim, the casings and stuff like that, that's all going to stay? Or at least be replaced in
Kind.
kind?
It would be replaced in kind, right, I don't wanna promise it'll all stay, cause I'm not sure I know what that entails, but it'll be replaced in kind.
Right.
What is Sean getting? Is he getting a cut sheet for the LePage?
I think so.
Yeah, I think it's been filed away.
It would be on the second drawer down. under
Yeah,
the
that's what
finish.
this is. But these were modifications later.
What was your question, Sean?
Just I was just seeing if they had the cut
Material.
sheets from the original
Oh.
windows, but
I think at one point we actually get to see a
Yes, we
sample
probably-
Yeah.
window. I wanted them for my house.
They should still be in there. If they're not, that's,
this
needs
is
to be,
just door north facade
that's
and
the modification.
Do you have the actual application? Cause I
no,
know
I
it
think
was
it's,
on that.
yeah, I think it's just
Yeah.
not filed in here because it's probably in our deep freeze, but
It may, because it's old enough, yeah. Or it
Yeah.
could be one of the sets that's getting scanned too.
yeah.
I don't have any hesitation about the window. What's the concern with the window, I mean, the windows that would be used? What's your concern now?
Well, I just want to know what it is that we approve.
Oh,
If it was wood
This.
or wrapped.
Was it, Home Depot special?
definitely not.
No.
Cool.
Okay, any other questions?
I would like to make a note for the record, Michael, that this is a situation in which the applicant has done what we asked them to do. We often say to people, please try to repair the windows first before you remove them. And the applicant has provided documentation that he did try to repair the windows first, which I appreciate.
Thank you.
I mean, these windows are so old. I mean, it is sad that we're losing them, but on the other hand,
They're
they
170
are
years
going to
old.
have, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, there is a lifespan at some point because they're glass.
Is this the contractor?
Yes.
Okay, anybody have any other questions?
No.
Okay, so, it's, the application with the following conditions. One is that, the window frame be replaced as part of the window replacement, and that, what was the other thing that we mentioned? We were just talking about,
Proportions?
huh?
Hmm?
No, well, one was the window, I'm trying to think,
And they're not replacement windows, they're, the full thing.
right.
They made it of wood?
I don't know, I'm sure I'll remember it as soon as I start at the car.
Is it up to the number that are starred on the drawing?
Well, that's gonna be, essentially, I need more copies of this, so
Okay.
that, it can be with each application.
Because one goes to the building inspector, one
Gotcha.
comes to you, and one stays with us.
Okay.
You need one more.
Mhm. Mhm. These are all single sided. Yes, so one more copy.
You know what? We have a color copier now. Can you give them to me and I'll.
Ooh.
I didn't know that. That's exciting.
Tactile, if that works.
We don't have a rug. We have a color copier.
Unfortunately, the carpet budgeting went to the color copier.
And just pick,
Yeah,
pick your color, put it on paper, put it to the floor.
exactly.
Also, this is a not a modification to a previously approved application,
Oh.
this is a new application.
Yes. Wait, okay, yes.
Just on the,
New.
just on the,
Oh, it's on the agenda
it says it's a
incorrectly.
modification, but
Okay.
it was submitted as a new application.
Not
Um,
a modification.
And all of the new windows that you had installed before
Mhm.
were 6/6?
I believe so. Yes.
Okay.
So those little windows can't be 6/6.
Right. I think that we were just after.
Well, I guess the
They are.
panes, the panes are going to, in other words, the mutton pattern is gonna match what's there.
What's it, correct. Right, we're not trying to change the aesthetic at all.
Yeah, the windows are 3 or 4.
Oh, those little guys are,
Little windows.
This will be noted on your tax bill.
10 cents.
25, I think.
That's cheap. Come on, we gotta make some money. 25 cents.
Lawyers charge 20.
Yeah. Easy.
this is true.
We have not yet taken a vote, yes?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so the application is submitted with these two qualifications, the mutton pattern to match existing, and the window replacement to include replacing a frame.
In kind.
And
Right.
trim.
Do I have a motion to approve the
that what you're
application as
saying?
modified?
The frame and trim in kind.
Yeah. Oh, casings, I knew that's what it was. Window trim and casings. Either repaired or replaced in kind, right? Okay. Those three qualifications. Do I have a motion? The application is modified.
I'll move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
Oh, it kills me to take out the glass, given the circumstances on the site, and the very intensified use across the street. I will vote yes. Do something cool with the glass.
So we're actually, I was thinking.
Build a greenhouse.
Yeah. It wouldn't be a very big greenhouse.
Build a ladybug house.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Okay?
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks for waiting.
There is a new neighbor on Chestnut Street, the brick house, one in, off the corner, whose family does restore old windows, and I don't mean that you should have to do that, but maybe he would want the glass.
Okay.
If you don't do anything with all the glass yourself.
Yeah. Good point.
Good luck.
I
Thank
think they
you.
had their truck parked there today when I was coming down.
Good night, go to bed.
Yes.
This guy's gotta go save people's lives tomorrow.
Well,
Goodbye.
and I work in Brooklyn at 8 a.m. tomorrow.
Oh, goodbye.
So,
See ya.
have a good night.
Bye.
See ya.
Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Saved one window from my childhood bedroom because my parents finally had to replace all the windows in their 1820s house. They all came out. It was so sad. They tried to keep them in
Well,
there.
and that's one of the reasons I felt comfortable.
Yeah.
Normally I do not feel comfortable, but they did make an attempt to, they worked with the windows for 2
Yeah,
years.
they took it out, they tried to fix
Mhm.
it, you know, I think they, you know, respected the integrity of the original material and there just wasn't anything that they could do, you know.
Well, and it is going to be a real impact to them, the sound across the street.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay,
We're gonna vote on the minutes?
minutes.
Okay, oh, I'm gonna pass those out.
That's what you did, look at the house on fire.
Alright, so we
I
have,
haven't done it yet, I've heard so many people screaming about the abomination.
um,
410.
After.
okay, I'm just gonna There's a lot to keep track of because we've had so many.
I keep forgetting that
Okay.
I'm responsible for one of the outstanding sets.
Right, I'm like keeping.
The
track.
November set is me. I
Okay,
keep forgetting.
so, yes, there's November set, so I need to write up 5/17/19, I just ran out of time, that was the coffee shop signage thing. Someone needs to write up 4/17/19.
4/17/19?
Wait a minute, did I write that down incorrect? I was doing so many minutes today, it's possible I screwed that up, hold on.
How many
Can I
minutes are-
suggest that you, if you're just handing them out to us?
Yeah, I'm just gonna hand them out, I'll
And that we vote
send
on
an
them next
email
time?
later, right.
Because if we haven't had a chance to read them.
Okay, so I fixed
But
up for.
410, we reviewed this. We reviewed this at our last meeting.
Okay.
410 needs a vote. 410 was important because that was the meeting where we reviewed the fencing
And
over
35?
at Market Street. I included Al's comments because he emailed me some special
Oh,
comments.
I was supposed to.
I don't have any from you, so if
I had that yet, but I didn't
Okay.
respond to you.
so we may
But
not.
basically, I did it all about comments.
So
You included my comments too. Mine were.
No, but we
Yeah.
dissented, but Al and I dissented from that vote. That's why
Right.
there was a
Oh,
dissent thing.
right, okay.
So basically, I did it all of Al's things, but I forgot to
So do you
send
want
that to you.
to send me comments of your own, or are you just comfortable with Al? You know what, we're not voting on the minutes tonight, I'm just gonna hand you all. So, these are all edited,
Can we vote on the 424 minute? It'll take
Yes,
a
we
minute.
can. I will move to approve.
We have a second?
okay,
I will
okay,
second.
okay, who,
Yeah, yeah.
on,
Go on.
I wasn't there.
okay, yeah, there was a problem, okay, so.
All
four-
in favor?
That went too fast. Who,
I know.
I moved, Sean seconded,
and this is
424.
424?
And we're waiting for a vote.
Hold on.
It's only the three of us.
Okay.
Al, you can't vote.
Yeah, I can't vote.
Yeah.
Okay, but I can call for a vote.
I'm going to, damn it.
All right, Sean,
Aye.
Andrea, Kathleen.
Aye.
All right. So 424 is approved.
That was exhausting.
Meeting's got 1 minute shorter next week.
Alright, so I'm gonna give you guys, you get a copy of 410?
410, 58, right?
Yeah, hold on.
That's what you sent around today.
I
Yeah.
didn't see minutes emailed today. I'm sorry, I
410.
haven't checked.
I
email
sent
later in
them
the
kinda
day.
late, it just took me so long to.
Okay, so, but if it's recent,
Slog through it, especially the 410 minutes are intense, so. Yeah, the way it was. There was a
Is
lot
this
at
just
stake,
one?
I had to get it all in there.
Oh, 5 pages long.
Yeah, I know, my printer was churning this thing out 5 times, and,
you know what? Don't do that at home. Bring one in and copy it.
you know,
So
it's
you're
like
not
if I
using
already
your
have
time.
it, if I already have it open, it's just easier and.
All right, so we will,
Okay, so
for the
this
next
is a
meeting and a
print.
workshop, do we wanna make that a voting session for minutes to get a chunk of
Yes,
minutes out of the way?
that'd be great.
We could, it would have to be a voting session to
Right,
approve.
so if we,
Someone get 410?
if we
Why am I
advertise it as a
sure?
voting session,
Someone
we
missing
can get
410?
minutes done at the same time.
Or maybe I did print off too many copies.
I'm dying, are we almost done? Oh, no, we have to do,
Scheduling.
So 5/8, we're gonna wait. Do you guys want copies of 5/8?
yeah, I haven't read it yet.
Okay, hold on. 5/8, thank you.
Oh, I was absent, that's why I haven't read it.
Ah, there you go. Give it to Carolyn. Would you like 5/8?
Yes.
It's in your email, but
Was I there? Yep.
yes, you were.
I was at the theater seeing Cillian Murphy.
Yes. Kathleen Foley was absent.
I was with Cillian Murphy,
Yeah.
that's what you're supposed to say.
Sean, this is 5/8 if you want a hard copy.
Oh, thank you. I printed it.
Did I give you 410?
I printed it out when you sent it before.
Okay. Do you want that or not? No. Alright.
So we're going to vote on these
How
at the
many
next
is
meeting?
this?
Yes,
Yes,
we're gonna
the
make a workshop, voting session.
Oh. What else have we got on the docket that day?
The rest of Butterfield, the signage for Butterfield.
They're gonna come.
And I hope he comes in with more legible drawings. You should maybe take advantage of the opportunity since it's
But that'll be another workshop
That's a
for
workshop.
Butterfield, for Butterfield.
Yes, he's asked for a workshop.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm saying we can, if we advertise it as voting session, we can knock the minutes out of the way. We being you, I'm traveling the 21st, 29th, so I cannot be at the fourth week session.
I can do that.
It's gonna be on the soundtrack of the meeting. Great.
I didn't realize it was that far.
What are we doing now?
Now scheduling workshops. for the
Well, we're already
design stuff.
scheduled for
We're already
the
scheduled for the
29th.
fourth Wednesday.
26th.
The fourth Wednesday.
24th,
26th.
6th, okay.
The design standards are the question next. And you're traveling a ton in the summer, right?
Yeah, no. Not, well, not a ton. I do.
I'm getting anxious to be done with it, but I also have not had time to sit down and do any new writing.
Right.
I think it'll be easier for
All right,
everybody
so-
after June.
So we're scheduling a workshop for the 26th. Is there anything else that we want to schedule at this particular time?
The design standards.
That's what we're talking about.
26th is our regular workshop. We're meeting with Butterfield on signage,
Okay.
and we're gonna do minutes. It's just hard to do applications and edit content.
I might not be here on the 26th.
Of June?
Yeah.
All right,
I am not at all, so
Because the kids get out of school on the 25th, and I usually go visit family. But hold on.
one copy.
give them the folders, please. Are you taking the folders with you?
I'm taking the folders with
I
me.
mean, if you are traveling.
Yes. If you have one application from each folder.
And you're taking the rest of it.
Well, it's a workshop and voting. The three of us can vote on 5/8.
That's what I was
and
just looking at.
We can vote on, but I don't think we can vote on
Yeah.
4/10.
4:10.
Oh yeah, we can, no, because Al was there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So we would still be able to do that, and we could still meet in workshop with Butterfield. Right?
Workshop Thursday?
Wednesday,
On 26th.
the 26th. Kathleen's definitely going to be gone, Andrea might be gone, but there'll still be three of us.
Yeah.
So we
No
can
problem.
vote and we can talk.
Okay.
Okay, well, do we have anything scheduled for the 26th?
Oh my God, Al Butterfield!
Butterfield!
Is he gonna be back on the 26th?
He's he asked to come in with the New York Presbyterian people to talk about signage. I don't know if he'll have anything from Ray or not, but he asked for a
I think it'll
separate session.
just be signage for New York Presbyterian. And, sorry, did he want us, does he, he wants us to vote on the signage or
No,
wants to
he
do
asked for a workshop.
Okay. So that sounds like it would be the only agenda item, which would be great because
Yeah,
the
and the
debates
If they're
are that
covered
night.
over window doors,
Oh, that's right.
if they're covered over glass doors,
Why is that in my brain for some reason?
Presbyterian.
Okay. Do we want to schedule any other meetings for the design standards?
Yes, that's what I was trying to get at. So we could make progress. But it
Since-
sounds like it won't be till July.
How about July 28th?
4th of July?
That's so far away.
No. That's no fun.
Do we want to do a Sunday or do we want to do a Wednesday?
I like Sundays.
There are 5 Wednesdays in July.
Hot dog. If we could, I can do editing if we start at 7, but starting at 8 on editing
On a Wednesday?
makes my eyeballs bleed. Yeah.
Okay. Do we want to do? We have a regular meeting on the 10th and the 24th. Do we want to have a meeting on the 17th and start at 7?
Sure.
That's like a full month from now.
That gives everybody time to write the sections they're supposed to write.
Okay.
Because I just did an outline of mine.
I'm going to
July
look at all
24th, is
this
that what we're
slide.
talking about?
July 17th. July.
Oh,
Design
okay,
standards.
because our meeting is on the 10th.
At 7 p.m.
I could not put my thoughts into words.
At 7 p.m. Now you can join whenever you can join.
Okay. Sounds like a plan.
All right.
17th.
And then I guess maybe when we meet at our monthly meeting in July, we can look at meetings for the rest of the summer and see if there's any other vacation conflicts or anything.
Right.
I don't think that I have any, but
I go away in August.
I'm gone the last week of July and the first 3 days of August, 4 days of August.
which is nothing. Which doesn't conflict with anything.
But otherwise I'm here.
I'm gone in the middle of August.
The week of the 12th or the 19th?
I'm gone for 2 weeks. The
The 12th.
10th to the 17th.
That's
Okay.
like 1 week.
Oh, I mean, wait a minute.
To the 24th.
We
Okay.
The
can
24th.
continue
So
this.
you're not going to miss the. So we could have a
We can
monthly meeting.
continue this
in
conversation.
August.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Yes,
Yes,
I move.
second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Turn everybody loose.
I vote aye.
What?
I vote aye to adjourn. So
Kathleen's out of the room.
Al,